Never underestimate the small things you do around your dog, because some of them are teaching lessons you'll later wish you'd noticed sooner. Dogs are watching us far more closely than we realize. Not in a judgmental way, not in a calculating way, but in a quiet, constant, emotionally tuned way that most humans don't notice until it's pointed out. Every sigh, every pause, every small habit you repeat without thinking becomes part of a pattern your dog learns. And those patterns shape how safe they feel, how confident they become, and how they choose to show up around you. This video isn't about training commands or fixing bad behavior. It's about the invisible lessons your dog absorbs simply by living alongside you. Lessons that are easy to miss, but once you recognize them, they're hard to ignore. Watch until the end, because you'll see why your dog reacts the way they do in moments that seem to come out of nowhere, and how tiny daily habits can quietly reshape the emotional bond you share. Number 1. Your dog learns your emotional schedule. Your dog doesn't just know when you wake up, eat, or leave the house. They also learn when you're calm, when you're tense, and when your emotional energy shifts throughout the day. Many dogs can sense stress building long before their human consciously names it. A tighter jaw in the morning, faster movements in the afternoon, a quieter presence in the evening. Those emotional rhythms become just as predictable to your dog as the sound of keys or the opening of a door. That's why your dog may become more clingy during certain hours or more distant during others, not because of anything that just happened, but because they've learned what those moments usually feel like. They're not reacting to events, they're responding to patterns. And once you see that, the next layer comes into focus. Your movement through the home reinforces those cues. When you recognize your own dog in this pattern, tapping like helps this message reach others who might be missing it. Number 2. Dogs pick up patterns in how you move through space. Dogs don't experience your home as one neutral environment. They experience it as emotional territory. Some rooms feel warm and inviting. Others feel closed off or unpredictable. Your dog notices where you slow down, where you rush through, where you linger, and where you seem mentally absent. A kitchen where you're present and relaxed may feel safe. A bedroom where you're distracted or tense may feel emotionally distant. This is why some dogs follow their humans from room to room but hesitate at certain doorways. It isn't curiosity, it's pattern recognition. They've learned where connection tends to happen and where it doesn't. And once a dog starts tracking space this way, they also start tracking timing. Number 3. The way you pause, hesitate, or rush becomes a signal. Dogs are exceptionally sensitive to timing. A brief pause before speaking, a hesitation before reaching out, a rushed movement without acknowledgement. These micro moments teach your dog what kind of interaction is coming next. A calm pause can signal safety. A rushed motion can signal unpredictability. With enough repetition, your dog starts preparing emotionally before anything actually happens. That's why some dogs flinch before being touched or pull away just before a command is given. They're not reacting to the action itself. They're responding to the moment right before it. And that matters because dogs learn from what consistently follows, not from what we meant to communicate. Number 4. Dogs notice consistency in your reactions more than your words. Dogs don't really understand your explanations. What they learn from is what actually happens after you react. If you say, "It's okay," but sometimes your tone is calm and other times it sounds annoyed, your dog doesn't hear reassurance. They feel confusion. If you praise them and sometimes follow it with warmth and attention, but other times you turn away or get distracted, your dog doesn't know what to expect next. Over time, this inconsistency makes dogs hesitant, not because they're stubborn or needy, but because they're trying to avoid doing the wrong thing. Dogs don't change their behavior to test you. They change it to protect themselves from mixed signals. Once a dog figures out what usually gets a response, attention, calm, or engagement, they start repeating only those behaviors. That's why some dogs seem attention-seeking. In reality, they're just doing what has worked before. Number 5. Your dog learns when they're allowed to exist quietly. Dogs learn a very practical lesson from daily life, when being calm gets noticed and when being calm gets ignored. In some homes, a dog can lie quietly near their person and still get small moments of connection, a soft, good dog, a quick touch, a warm glance. Dogs in that environment learn, I don't have to do anything big to feel close to you. They settle more easily because calmness feels safe and rewarding. But in other homes, quiet behavior gets no response because life is busy. The dog is silent, and nothing happens. Then the dog whines, paws, barks, brings a toy, or gets in the way, and suddenly they get attention. Even if the attention is stop that, it's still a response. Over time, the dog learns, if I want you to notice me, I have to perform. That's why some dogs look attention-seeking or unable to relax. They're not trying to be annoying. They're repeating what has worked before. Quiet equals invisible. Action equals connection. And once a dog believes calmness doesn't count, they may struggle to settle, even when they're tired, because they feel like they have to keep doing something to stay emotionally connected to you. Naturally, dogs also learn this through your voice, because tone often decides whether they come closer or keep their distance. Number 6. Subtle changes in your tone teach approach or avoidance. Your dog recognizes emotional shifts in your voice that most humans consider insignificant. A slightly flatter tone, a sharper exhale, a distracted response. These shifts teach your dog when it's safe to approach and when it's better to keep distance. Over time, dogs stop testing moments that consistently lead to emotional withdrawal. This doesn't mean your dog is sensitive in a fragile way. It means they're emotionally intelligent. They adapt to preserve connection while avoiding rejection. Number 7. Dogs learn which habits signal safety and which signal unpredictability. Dogs don't need chaos to feel unsafe. Inconsistency alone is enough. A habit as simple as sometimes acknowledging your dog when you enter a room and sometimes not can create uncertainty. Dogs notice which habits lead to reassurance and which leave them guessing. Predictability creates calm. Neutral behavior doesn't always feel neutral to a dog. If they can't predict what comes next, they prepare for stress. Number 8. Your dog tracks follow-through, not promises. If you usually grab the leash after saying walk, your dog learns that walk means something will actually happen. But if you often say it and then get distracted, take a call, or change your mind, your dog slowly learns that the word doesn't always lead anywhere. The same goes for attention. If you often say wait, later, or in a minute, but sometimes follow through and sometimes don't, your dog doesn't feel confused or upset. They simply adjust their expectations. Over time, dogs stop reacting with excitement to things that used to happen but don't reliably happen anymore. Not because they don't care, and not because they're being stubborn, but because they've learned not to get their hopes up. This is why some dogs seem less responsive or less enthusiastic than they once were. They're not losing interest in you. They're protecting themselves from disappointment by staying emotionally neutral. And all of this is learned through very small, everyday moments. Not big mistakes, not broken trust, just patterns repeated often enough to matter. Number 9. Micro moments teach emotional availability. Dogs learn a lot from very small moments, not big events. Things like whether you look at them when they come near, whether you respond when they sit beside you, or whether you acknowledge them while doing something else. A quick glance, a soft word, or even a calm presence matters more than people realize. If, most of the time, your dog approaches you and gets some kind of response, even a quiet one, they learn that you are emotionally available. They feel safe checking in with you. They stay relaxed and confident around you. But if those small moments usually get no response because you're busy, distracted, or mentally elsewhere, your dog learns something different. They learn that approaching you often doesn't lead to connection. Over time, they stop trying as much, or they only approach when they really need something. Dogs don't expect constant attention. What they need is predictable emotional signals. They adjust their behavior based on what usually happens, not on rare good moments. So your dog isn't reacting to one bad day or one distracted moment. They're responding to the overall pattern of how emotionally reachable you tend to be in daily life. That's why dogs don't just adapt to our schedules or routines. They adapt to how emotionally present we usually are. Your dog isn't judging you. They're learning you quietly, constantly, with an emotional precision most humans underestimate. The beautiful part is that awareness changes everything. Small shifts in presence, consistency, and follow-through can reshape how safe your dog feels without any formal training at all. Connection doesn't come from doing more. It comes from being more predictable, more present, and more emotionally available in the moments that seem insignificant. If you want to keep building that trust, watch our next video.